2019. We're already into the second half of the year. We've had the Pledge of Allegiance already at our town meeting tonight that was well attended and quite efficient tonight. Thank you for coming. I would like to add a moment of silence before we get started for the passing of John Hoy, who was a state rep in our town, served our citizens extremely well in office and after office, and was instrumental in the boardwalk and so many other projects in town. So a moment of silence. Thank you. He's a good man. We shall all live by his example. Additional agenda and consent items, are there any? Okay, then delegations. Would anyone like to speak to the Board of Selectmen tonight? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Board, approval of the minutes. Regular meeting of June 19th. That was the last time we met, 2019.
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 19th as 18 and 2019 is submitted. She has the wrong date written down here, that's why it,
Oh my God.
so, June 19th.
Regular
2000.
meeting, June 19th is a motion.
Second.
It's been seconded. Are there any comments, corrections, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Consent calendar, please.
Move to approve the consent calendar for the meeting of July 10, 2019, in the amount of $346.86.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? First on our agenda this night under new business is the discussion and schedule, the possible scheduling of a public hearing. We'd hope that we would schedule a public hearing after all this time, of the harbor management ordinance. And our town attorney, Tracy Collins, is here. And maybe you can guide us through this a little bit. I also noticed that Steve Dinsmore is here. Are you the chairman, Steve? I am. Right, and you've worked very hard on this along with your commission members to get this to this point, and we really want to move it across the finish line. Tracy?
So I think it would be helpful for the selectmen if you had some history of how this has operated in the town. In 1994, the Harbor Management Plan was first adopted by the town of East Lyme, as well as an ordinance adopting the Harbor Management Plan. The way our statutes read is that while the plan is not an ordinance, it has to be adopted by an ordinance. The Harbor Management Commission has been working on this for 5 years. Some of you who were on the Board of Selectmen last year may remember that Jeffrey Stedman, who's the consultant for the Harbor Management Commission, put on a presentation about the new plan that he was working on. This was also on the agenda last October, the same plan, well, almost the same plan that you're looking at now, as well as the ordinance. But apparently the DEP, which had approved it, revoked the approval and asked to make minor changes, and it's taken us this long to get it before you for that reason. But they have approved it. What you should also know is that the Harbor Management Plan has been subject to public hearings before the commission. And the DEP and the commission's been involved in all of that, and the town would not be allowed to enact this ordinance if it had not been approved, if the plan had not been approved. So what we've done to give you some idea of what the changes are from the 1994 ordinance and the 1994 plan is, I believe that Mrs. Anderson will or soon will get you copies of the draft with track changes, so the selectmen can see exactly what the changes are from the 1994 ordinance to the ordinance that's going to be before you at the public hearing and that you should have in your packets tonight, as well as to the Harbor Management Plan. Bound copies of the Harbor Management Plan without the track changes are going to be dropped off tomorrow to Ms. Anderson, and she will get them to the selectmen. But you should also have electronic copies of it via email. The way it works is, as I said, the Harbor Management Plan is adopted by the town of East Lyme as a separate resolution. You will be presented with 2 resolutions after the public hearing, should you choose to send it to a public hearing. One will be to adopt the plan. The second will be to adopt the ordinance. This is the same exact procedure that you used, or the Selectmen used back in '94, and we would recommend that you do that again.
Terrific.
Do you have any questions?
So, to further make comment on where you are, and thanks for the clarity there. So we're gonna vote twice. We're gonna vote on the actual plan and then the ordinance, so it fits into our charter. And the
Yes, and you
ordinance
will
book.
see that I'm sorry.
No, I just, tonight we weren't gonna get a lot of details. We were gonna
Mhm.
talk about plan, and so I want the selectmen to know that when we schedule a public hearing, that's when we would expect to get a refresher course on the harbor management plan from the Harbor Management Commission and their attorney, and you as well will be here, and you'll guide us through the actual plan and the ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Stedman, who the commission hired to draft the plan and help present it to the DEEP, was the same consultant they used back in '94,
Oh, my
because
goodness.
I went back and checked the minutes, and he gave a presentation. He will be back for round 2, and he's certainly very experienced. The commission has worked with him for at least 25 years, and he was the one really responsible for drafting and submitting the plan and getting it approved by the DEEP. So he will be here to answer any questions that the selectmen may have, and I will be here to answer any questions regarding the changes to the ordinance. I should say that Mr. Stedman drafted some substantive changes to the ordinance, the existing ordinance, and then our office went over it again and made additional changes. And you will see from your drafts that you should have before you tonight where our changes are, which are in color, ours being Waller, Smith and Palmer's, and where Mr. Stedman's are, which are in block letters.
Mhm. Terrific. Thank you, Mrs. Collins. Are there any questions? So we're looking probably for a motion to schedule a public hearing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have prepared the notice for you, and because thank you.
Is this the one, right here?
Yes.
Okay. If it's,
Before we do that, Steve, is there anything you'd like to add, Mr. Dinsmore, to this? Of course, you'll have a lot of mic time in our public hearing.
No, we'll just present the plan in its entirety.
We're looking forward to that, too.
It should be available, I think, the town clerk's office for public view for the public hearing.
Yes, you'll notice in the notice of the public hearing, it says that a copy will be available on the town's website, and a copy will be available in the clerk's office tomorrow.
Terrific. Thank you. I think we're ready for a motion.
sure. I'll move the following. Notice is hereby given of a public hearing to be held by the East Lyme Board of Selectmen on Wednesday, August 7, 2019, at the East Lyme Town Hall at 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, Connecticut, beginning at 7:15 p.m. to receive comments regarding the following ordinance entitled Ordinance Modifying the 1994 Ordinance for the Use and Enjoyment of the East Lyme Harbor Management Area. Said ordinance proposes the following. 1. Modifications to the ordinance for the use and enjoyment of the East Lyme Harbor Management Area, which was adopted by the East Lyme Board of Selectmen on May 4, 1994. And 2. The adoption of a 2019 revised harbor management plan, which plan replaces the harbor management plan adopted by the East Lyme Board of Selectmen on May 4, 1994. Copies of the proposed 2019 harbor management plan and ordinance modifying the 1994 ordinance for the use and enjoyment of the East Lyme Harbor Management Area are available for review in the East Lyme Town Clerk's Office and on the Town of East Lyme website, www.eltownhall.com. Interested persons are invited to attend and be heard. Dated at East Lyme, Connecticut on this 10th day of July, 2019, East Lyme Board of Selectmen.
Second?
Motion and second. Any further questions, comments? We have a little bit of work to do between now and the next meeting. We have a harbor management a plan that we're going to have to read through, and also the ordinance. So let's do our homework before we get to the table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Terrific. Thank you. The next item then is 2B, a discussion and possible action of the public works fees. I note that our general foreman, Justin Porter, is here tonight. Justin, you cleaned up?
Thank you.
You're looking good?
Thank you, thank you.
You start your day very early in the mornings,
do.
and I appreciate you being here late at night.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
Glad I
that.
do it for Joe and for everybody, so.
Joe's got a
Joe
family
unfortunately
day.
could not be here, so I'm gonna speak on his behalf.
You got it. You want to walk us through what you're asking us to do today?
You guys have the proposal in front of you, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think they
Yes.
do.
We have
And what
Joe's
would-
letter.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll just quickly run through it. Right now, we're currently charging $75 for trash cans. We're gonna be talking about recycling and garbage cans. We provide them to all businesses and residents. We give them 2 recycling cans free of charge to promote recycling, which we've been trying to do since this has been instituted. And we do that also because we collect every other week. So you should have the ability as a resident to have your recycling go into a proper container every week, and that's what we're trying to do here. After that second can, the recycling can, there is a charge, $75. And that also goes for the garbage cans as well. After your second garbage can, it's a $75 fee. The cans that we get are a pretty good quality can. They do have an 18-year warranty, so we pay a little bit more for them, but over the years, the cost has gone up. So right now, it's gonna cost us $100 per can. We're charging $75. We have 2 different sizes, a 96 gallon, which pretty much everybody likes to use, the large ones, and we also have the 64s as well. And we're currently out of the recycling cans. We have no more 96 gallon recycling cans. So in order to overcome this, our proposal is pretty simple. Raise the fee for the 96 gallon garbage cans to $110. The 64 gallon garbage cans would remain at $75. That cost is almost dollar for dollar for what we're paying, and the 110 would be the same for the new cost for the 96. We're going to continue to provide 2 free 96 gallon recycling cans free, and then each additional can would be $100. We are about to order 75 more cans. Garbage and recycling is just, it's an everyday thing. It's a huge task to deal with every day. Cans break, we have issues, so we run through them frequently, and we're just trying to make sure that we can continue to provide to all the businesses and residents a can when they request it. Pretty simple. So at this point, we're just looking to raise the fee to at least cover the costs. The 64 gallon cans will continue to be $75 after that second can. If the can is damaged, we'll replace it to the taxpayer free of charge, as it is covered by the 18-year warranty. So it again, pretty simple proposal, but we just want to make sure we're continuing what we're spending. We should be getting it back. That's all.
That makes sense. It's the actual cost. Costs have gone up, so we're going to let it's a user fee.
Yes.
Those that need the cans should pay for the cans. I'd like to point out that when we started this recycling program, it was a money maker. We made money when people recycled. We were getting paid for tonnage. And that, if you've been reading the paper and paying attention to what's going on in the world, that isn't the case anymore. In fact, we're paying now. So what was a revenue stream is turned into an expense stream, and that expense stream continues to grow and get steeper. While we're giving out 2 free recycling cans every week, and we started doing that a long time ago, we really almost should be charging for those 2, but we're staying pretty conservative right now and still promoting recycling because it's the right thing to do, although it's costing us money.
Yeah.
And we really
Surveying some of the other local towns, almost every other town that provides garbage and recycling services charges 1 for 1.
Yeah.
So we try to do better, and that's all we're trying to do, is just stay ahead of the game and make sure we can continue to provide this service.
And it shows the recycling level in our town is much higher than other area towns. People do recycle in this town because we were promoting it early on, and we were encouraging it with free cans and many other reasons why we do that. So thank you, Justin. Any questions for Justin?
I got one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
You had.
You're proposing $110 for a 96 gallon garbage can, but only $100 for the recycling. Why is there a difference?
That should have been a typo. It should be 110 for both. The mold is the same,
Is that what you
so I apologize for that. That is a typo. It should be
As
110.
presented.
can make
Okay.
note of that correction.
All right, thank you.
You're
Let's,
welcome.
let's make that 110 and be clear on that. So the proposal, the third bullet down, provide 2 free 96-gallon
Yes.
recycling cans for free. Then each additional can would be 110, just like the garbage cans.
Correct.
Okay.
It would make, even if it would, the intention was to, even if it wasn't a typo, it seems easier if we had 1 fee
Mhm.
for the cans than,
Yeah, that's.
than 100 or
simplified.
110.
No, it was supposed to be 110, I apologize.
Okay.
Just real quick, how do you manage, do you manage who has 2 cans and who has 1 for recycling?
Yes, so before I was even involved with this, a very large, extensive spreadsheet was established. So when the cans were first distributed, each resident, and it's broken down by street address and everything, there's a serial number on each can. So every can has a serial number specific to your house. So we have the ability to go back if you were to call and say, hey, my garbage can's lost, which happens, down in the beaches. Sometimes people are helping each other out and they're bringing them in for the summer residents. And it's a very common occurrence where I get a lot of calls. Somebody stole my garbage can. It's typically at your neighbor's house or they got swapped. And we can go back and we can check our records. When we get new requests, there is a form that's filled out. It goes to the admin and she collects the money, fills out the form, what the request is, and then we go back and we check on that database so we can confirm. Some things slip through the crack, but we try our best. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of cans that are out there, so we're doing our very best to keep a really good spreadsheet. So again, they're all serialized and they're specific to each resident.
Okay. And do you have any issues when people move? Do some people move in and there's no cans there? And
I will say that we find a way to do the right thing always. So there may be some residents that take them with them. We can't correct everything. We just try to do our best and do, again, record keeping is huge for us. It happens. People do take
Okay.
cans or stuff happens.
yeah, because it's kind of confusing if you're supposed to leave them.
Yeah. So well, just I'll put it on record now. If you sell your house, leave your garbage and recycling cans there, please. I could speak for hours on garbage and recycling issues. I mean, my email today must have been about 40 emails alone with just garbage and recycling.
Is that right?
Yeah. So,
Is
and
there
it
any
what-
other public service announcements you'd like to get out right now?
We're gonna need a special forum for this.
No, really. Do you have 2 or 3 others? I'm curious. Anything come to mind?
Well, again, leave your garbage cans and recycling cans at your house, please. Please don't take your garbage and recycling cans in if they have not been picked up. So, one of the biggest issues that we have in town are we have a regular set of drivers. Everybody goes out and they go, oh, my garbage gets picked up between 9 and 10. And 9 out of 10 times that's correct. But we have guys that call out, we have substitute drivers, they take routes differently. So we get calls, 10 o'clock, my garbage hasn't been picked up. We haven't even gotten there yet. We're trying our best. We're going as fast as we can. So leave it out till the end of the day. If it has not been picked up by the end of the day, leave it there, call Public Works, and I will promise you that we will pick it up as soon as we can. Typically, it's the same day.
Yes.
Typically. If it happens to be an exception where it's the next day, it does happen, but leave it, wait till the end of the day, please. That's all we ask.
They're kind of amazing. They do these special services in a town with 120 miles of road and
Yeah.
8,000 households or whatever. You still go out there and do one-on-one. I know another one you want to talk about, and that is the leaving of 4 feet on each side of the barrel, which is a big
Yeah.
problem.
It's obviously in the area that we live down. If any of you live down Black Point Beach area, you got tight roads. You have contractors that are on the road. Your neighbor may be right next to you. There's cars. There's fire hydrants. There's mailboxes. We just ask that you try to leave as much space between each can, as much space as possible. If there is a problem and you're not sure where to put the can, call me. That's all I ask. Just call me, because what I do is I call the driver that's specified to that route, and I have a very candid conversation. Where can you and where can you not pick up the can? And these guys know every single house. They know where all of you put your garbage cans, trust me.
They know where
They
where we live.
They know where you live. So if you have a problem and you're not sure, just call me because I'll get it figured out for you.
Yeah.
Just leave us space. And again, the single stream recycling is going to start costing towns. You know, this is nationwide. Be conscious of what you put in there. Plastic bags are the #1 offender that are not supposed to be in single stream recycling. A lot of people do not know that. It clogs up the sorting machines. So do your best part because it's only affecting you because it's gonna cost you in the long run.
We have a campaign coming, several campaigns this fall, but we have a campaign coming out this fall for recycling. We gotta reteach people what
Correct.
goes in and what doesn't go in and how to do it right. We get charged more. We get hit pretty hard when we dump the recycling stuff at the recycling center and it's tainted with things that don't belong there. So
We got to get into
do a
the
better
schools
job.
and get the kids to bug the parents.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. You get the kids into
Sure.
at the schools and the parents. All of a sudden, you go, oh yeah, I shouldn't put that in there
Yeah.
because the little one's gonna go, you can't put that in there.
Dad. Dad. Thank you, Justin.
You're
You do a
welcome.
remarkable job. Are there other questions on this particular item on our agenda?
it's sort of an aside.
Yeah, sure.
Can you replace the tops? Because I see that there are
So
cracked
let me
tops.
give you a quick rundown of the components of the garbage can. I know it seems like such a basic thing, but there's a lot of moving parts, no pun intended.
Yeah.
There's 2 wheels, there's 2 axles, there's the molded can, there's the top, the actual lid cover, and on the back of the lid on the underside there's these 2 little brackets. If your can lid is broken, we will replace it free of charge. We have those in stock. Again, some of this is oriented towards that because those lids, just so everybody's aware, $28 a piece. So, and we have guys that go out and we change them every day. And I have stacks of paper. We got to go this house, that house, and we don't want some raggedy looking can in front of your house. Not for not in this community. So we're
You got to give some credit to Bobby too here while you're
a
doing
little
these.
bit.
Okay.
A little bit. He puts up with me because I'm constantly yelling at him. You got to get here. Got to get here. So Bobby does a wonderful job, and we're lucky to have him.
Did you have
No, it's just about the lids, and I know we have to move. But-
You can replace the lids. Yes.
No, but the reason I think that's important is when they're open, you're getting water in there, and that's adding to the weight, and that's increasing our cost, isn't it? To some degree?
Yes, to a certain extent. So what happens is, let's say you picked up a can and it was a quarter full of water. It goes into the truck.
Yeah.
There's 2 exits. They're called chutes. They're clean out chutes, and they actually drain out water and liquid. So there's a little bit there.
I see.
I know, yeah, it's not
That
a pleasant
water's not
thought.
good, is it?
Most of that stuff
Yeah.
is going down $3.95, but
Okay.
fortunately it's part of the business. So
Unless it's winter. Winter may
yeah,
be frozen.
frozen, absolutely.
Right, right.
So
No, it's a good question, and of course the animals and all that, right?
Yeah.
So,
animals, yeah, absolutely.
which only make a mess.
Keep the lid.
Justin, you're very informative. This is your career. This is what you do
Yeah.
for us. You're
Yep.
the guy
this
behind
is
the
just
scenes.
a little snippet of in the day, you know.
I
so.
sent Joe Brigard down to New York today, so you could be
That's
the
fine.
superstar today,
fine.
and we get to meet you and get
Yes.
to know who you are. We appreciate you coming in tonight and doing this for us. Are there any questions about the fee changes? We can probably take a motion. if there
Okay,
isn't.
I'll move to approve the revised fees for trash and recycling cans as presented and modified, since we did change that
100 to 110.
1 to 110.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Okay. Any questions? Other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Our next item is the 2C carryover. What we have is we have a couple nickels left in our heating oil propane fund. Thank you, Trace. Nice to see you. Thank you for your help tonight. We've been discussing doing competitive bids for the propane to get better pricing for this commodity. And to do this, the town will need to own our own propane tanks. And one of the places is the new police station came with a service contract of propane tanks that aren't owned by us. We'd like to change those out. We get much better propane prices for for our taxpayers, for our budget, if we own the tank and then go out and bid the propane. So what we'd like to do is hold over that $5,101 to this year and then be able to use it in the, to go out and buy propane tanks.
I'll move to approve a carryover of $5,101 from account 01-01-113-400-213, heating oil propane from the 2018-19 fiscal year to the 2019-20 fiscal year and forward to the Board of Finance for approval.
I'll second.
A motion and seconded has been made. Any further comments or questions? Try to keep this kind of simple for you folks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Terrific. Our next one is a discussion and schedule, and the scheduling of a town meeting for a special appropriation of the lease purchase of, of the acquisition plan. This is the acquisition plan we do every year. For the audience and for those paying attention, this is also in stuff that's items, capital items that were, all these items were in our plan, were in our budget. We planned on all these items, and then again, to go get the money and to actually buy this stuff, we have to go through the appropriation process once again. So we start right at the back at the beginning, after we've gone through the budget cycle, to actually go then go get the leases or get the loans, and in our case at the town meeting today, get the bonds to go purchase those things. You have listed items in the back here. There's many items that we have been talking about since the beginning of time, it seems. So the right item, 2D. I'll list them for points of discussion. There's a couple Fords, and Justin, that's right, you're here for this as well.
If you have any questions, I'd be happy to
And
try to.
Justin
try to
kind of
help you.
owns this list that you see in front of you. The Board of Ed is here tonight because I think you have some items on here toward the bottom. I'll start with that. A telephone system in the middle school, laptops, interactive boards, what's Meraki access points?
They're wireless.
It's the wireless items, and then the Cisco switches, all computer related items. That's of the Board of Ed. The Water and Sewer Department gets lumped into this because we're going out to take all this money. We're going to go out and finance this, so it's better when we lump it all together as a community. And then Water and Sewer will pay for it. Board of Ed will pay for theirs. The F-350 utility body for the water, the F-350 flatbed for the sewer, Ford Escape, and a valve exercise trailer. Those items are paid for by the Water and Sewer. You'll see the Fire Marshal and Flanders Fire Department are both getting vehicles. Those items are 12 years old on the road right now, certainly long past their typical lifespan. And the very important thing for Parks and Rec, I know Dave was here earlier, is the large area mower. That they had a 20-plus year Groundmaster or mower, and it's time for a replacement. It's a $94,000 mower, but it's one of those big ones that they sweep the big fields over at Bridebrook, and we have some of the nicest fields in New England as we've been awarded. The police pay for their own vehicles, so you'll see 3 police cars there. They pay through fees that they collect when you see a side of the road job. Recently Comcast has been putting in wires. There might be Eversource, and there might be utility things. And when a company comes out and hires the cops to stand there for traffic control, they pay fees for the use of our vehicles too. Those fees add up, and they add up quite a bit. They're going to buy their own police vehicles, and so while we're we're borrowing to buy these vehicles, it's the police who will be paying their portion of that. And then Public Works Department has 4 items: the Ford F-250 Super Cab.